Welcome to episode 294, John Doerr Venture Capital King, 9 Lessons. This is an outline of episode 294, lesson 1 to lesson 5. This is an outline of episode 294, lesson 6 to lesson 9. Lesson number 1, ideas are easy. Execution is everything.
Amazing. I worship at the altar of ideas. I love innovation. I'm addicted to it, as many of us. But Thomas Edison said, innovation without execution is a hallucination. And so execution is everything. Execution is everything. I'd rather have a B idea with an A team or A-level execution than an A idea with B execution or a B team.
Lesson number 2, build an A team.
But I've seen so many disruptive ideas where there's not been execution. The team doesn't get it done, that it causes me to admire the innovators who can also lead, who can assemble, recruit, hire, and motivate a great team. So that's the framework that I've found across ventures.
Lesson number 3, you need a coach for honest feedback, for support, and for values and culture.
I strongly recommend that entrepreneurs get a coach. I'll try to fill in and do that job, but there's also a network of professional coaches that make a big difference. I'm going to tell you a story about a UC Berkeley grad, Eric Schmidt, who we recruited to come work with Larry and Sergey when they were building Google. And not long after Eric arrived, I said, Eric, I think you ought to get a coach. And he was really offended by this suggestion. And I said, well, I've got this coach I want to recommend to you. He's actually formerly a coach. He's the football coach at Columbia University, kind of the legendary Bill Campbell. And so Eric said, yeah. And he met with Campbell. And years later, he said it was the best piece of advice he'd ever gotten, because Coach Campbell, who had been a CEO before and had coached a team before, became his co-pilot. What does a great coach do? A great coach gets totally aligned with you. They've got your back. They're working with you to build the company. They might join you in a staff meeting. They're going to privately give you constructive, critical feedback. That's one of the rarest things to get in a business setting. It's constructive, critical feedback. And an extraordinary coach will also work with your teammates.
Lesson number 4, get the best education in a hurry. John Doerr earned his Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering and Master of Science in Electrical Engineering from Rice University, and also his MBA from Harvard by the time he was 25. Lesson number 5, network like crazy.
I would, as I said before, network like crazy. I hate to say this with the dean here, but I don't think your grades at Stanford Business School matter. What matters is going to be the, of course they're important. But I think the quality of the networks and your hunger for learning and figure out how you're going to make a difference in the world is, I believe, more important than.
Lesson number 6, venture capital is a service industry.
Venture capital is a service industry. And so my partners and I, while we've started companies, we're not confused about what our role is. We do not run these companies. We're there to serve the entrepreneurs, to provide them with the best advice that we can when they want it and sometimes when they don't, and then to back them to help accelerate their vision. And after all, the reason we invested is their vision's much better than ours.
Lesson number 7, swing for the fence. He loves the huge disruptors.
Our partnership is, I think, unique in Silicon Valley in that we're not a quantity shop. We're trying to invest in the most things. We're, like Stanford Business School, more interested in quality, and in particular in the entrepreneurs who are disruptors, the ones who want to change the world and make a big, bold difference in what they do. We also invest across a spectrum of technologies and stages of companies, really a pretty impressive array of companies. I've just selected some of them. Some of them here are newer. Some of them are older, like Genentech, which pioneered the life sciences industry. But whether you're looking at Coursera, which is the newest of these investments we made, it's been out in the market for 11 months or so, Twitter, which is the largest check we've ever written to back the company, Amazon, Google. These are companies that we're incredibly proud to be associated with.
Lesson number 8, definition of an entrepreneur.
With something that's really dear to my heart and my life, and that's entrepreneurs and startups. It says entrepreneurs, by definition, do more than anyone thinks possible with less than anyone thinks possible. That's my definition of entrepreneurship. It's more than anyone thinks possible, way more, in a really surprising way, with less than anyone thinks possible. And entrepreneurs are my heroes. It's certainly not the only socially important or powerful function, but entrepreneurs are the great disruptors. Oftentimes, they'll start a business or imagine a new world because they don't know any better. And I say that with deep respect because inspired to see the world differently, they'll achieve it, whereas the naysayers would not even try. Entrepreneurship, I think, is a deeply American quality.
Lesson number 9, making new mistakes is okay. His example is Jeff Bezos of Amazon.
What are the qualities that matter in entrepreneurs? This is a pattern matching thing. It's like when you meet Jeff Bezos, you just know that you want to be in trouble with them. Jeff was a computer scientist from Princeton, exceedingly bright, and I remember walking into his offices in a very seedy part of Seattle. In fact, the Free Needle Clinic was right across the street from his offices. And Jeff came bounding down from the loft in this place where they were distributing the books with a laugh that only could barely be described as a laugh. It was more like a honk. and at that moment, from the intensity in his eyes and the way he talked, I knew there was a kind of personal bond that meant I wouldn't mind being in trouble with Jeff. And one thing I'm pretty sure about is any of the entrepreneurs that I get to work with who are going to do something world-changing, we are going to get in trouble. We are going to get in trouble. So the goal then in working with him is try to make new mistakes, not repeat the same old ones. And that was true of Larry Page. That was true of the Sun founders. It was true of...
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and leave your questions and comments below. Wishing everyone peace and prosperity.